Welcome to this TDC board meeting, and I'd like to bring it to order. And without further ado, do the roll call, if you would mind. Oh, you know, okay. Well, we're just going to do roll call. Phil?
Trisha Rodriguez, the traffic spokesperson in the Clearwater Ferry. Good morning.
Copley Gertis, City Council Member, City of St. Petersburg.
Good morning, Michael Zoss, County Attorney's Office.
And I'm Janet Long, Pinellas County Commissioner and Chair of the board this year.
Good morning, everybody. Steve Hayes with Visit St. Pete Clearwater.
Russ Kimball, Sheridan Sand Key, Clearwater Beach.
Frank Hibbard, Mayor of the City of Clearwater.
Good morning, Doreen Moore, Travel Resort Services, TRS Vacation Rentals throughout our Gulf beaches. Thank you.
Good morning. Julie Ward-Bajalski, Mayor of the great city of Dunedin, as well as representing the Mayor's Council.
Good morning. Chuck Prather, the Birchwood, St. Petersburg.
Good morning. Clyde Smith, Bilmar Beach Resort, Treasure Island.
Chair, your mic isn't on again.
Sorry. Do we have any public comment? Okay. And now we have an industry presentation from Chris Miner from Tampa International Airport.
I'd move approval of the minutes.
Oh, thank you, because I just, I'm getting ahead of myself.
Second that.
Second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, now, Steve, do you want to introduce Chris?
Thank you, Madam Chair. We were fortunate last month to have an update from St. Pete Clearwater National Airport. This month, we have an update from Tampa International Airport, all the great things that are happening there. And with us today, we have Chris Minner, who is the Executive Vice President of Marketing and a long-time supporter of tourism and efforts here in Pinellas County. Good morning, Mr. Minner.
Well, good morning, Steve, and Madam Chair, distinguished members of the board. It is a real honor to be with you. I'm Chris Minner, and as Steve said, I'm Executive Vice President. I function as the Chief Commercial Officer for Tampa International Airport. All of the teams that generate revenue, restaurants, bars, shops, commercial parking, rental cars, as well as the marketing, communications, and air service development teams are within my vertical. I've been a part of this community for the last going on 13 years, and it has been just a real pleasure to be able to serve the entire region and to work with Visit St. Pete Clearwater now through several administrations and leadership groups. And I'm looking over to my left at Katie Bridges, part of the team that is always there for us, providing data and answers for us as we're trying to understand the dynamics of this incredible market. But the partnership that we have with you all is extraordinary. What I'd like to do is provide you a quick update on what's happening at the airport, and it's a lot of new growth and development and a peek into the future. So we'll start with Tampa International Airport, and this is who we are. You can see we're on track right now to serve more than 23 million passengers. That will set a brand new record for Tampa International Airport. We're heading into next month, our busiest time of the year, more than 2.2 million people that we're expecting to come through the front door. Our lowest month, September, right? At the end of summer, everybody goes back to work, the kids are back in school, and things just kind of slow down, and probably not very different for those of you who operate hotels here in the region as well. 4 airsides with 58 gates, the 66 shops and restaurants that we have, we really celebrate the fact that they bring local flavor from the entire region, and those have been very, very successful. 23,000 parking spaces, and foreshadowing, I'm going to give you an update on how you can save money when you park at Tampa International Airport too. Cargo is a big business, and the Hillsborough County Aviation Authority, which owns and operates TPA, also has 3 general aviation airports as well. We generate $14.4 billion annually of economic impact to the region. That's according to the Florida Department of Transportation. You can see we're the 28th busiest airport in the entire United States. We have about 10,500 people that work at TPA. About 700 of them work for the Hillsborough County Aviation Authority. The rest are people that work in our concessions, work for our airlines and other businesses, and about 121,000 jobs that are directly related to the airport in some way throughout the entire region. Southwest Airlines is our biggest carrier, though I can tell you there's been a big change with the mix of airlines at Tampa International Airport. When I got here, Southwest represented a lot more, I think up to 40% of our traffic. Delta Airlines and American Airlines have really been growing very rapidly, and you can see they're tied at about 17% market share. On our top 10 markets, all of them are domestic, probably not a surprise, but we bring a lot of people from New York, Chicago, Atlanta. And these are all of the places that Steve and his team come here month in and month out telling you about their brilliant strategies to bring people to our beautiful beaches. Now, you may have seen we have a new flamingo in the main terminal, and we're very proud of her. The gentleman that you see holding the Busch Gardens ticket had the successful name of the more than 70,000 names that were submitted. We shortlisted it down to 3, and ultimately he had recommended the name Phoebe because Phoebe sounds like the, I'm sorry, I cannot pronounce the Latin original root name of flamingo, but they kind of sound similar. We had about 70,000 people that nominated names. We had another 40,000 people that voted for their favorite name. And it generated about $27 million of earned media value, just the fact that we have this public artwork in the main terminal, and people seem to really adore it. I want to give you a huge thanks on behalf of the 164 active volunteers that we have at Tampa International Airport right now. You can see last year alone, 17,000 volunteer service hours, and they helped more than 125,000 visitors that arrived. These are the people that are working at our 5 visitor information stations. We have 4 in our baggage claim area in the main terminal. We have 1 over in the rental car center. We also staff every single international arrival with volunteers that are multilingual to meet the people that are coming into our community. But in addition to all of that, the partnership with Visit St. Pete Clearwater has just never been stronger. And last year you hosted 2 familiarization tours for our volunteers. You actually hosted them, provided them lunch and tours of different assets here in the region. And that's wonderful because when they're sitting on the front line and they're the smiling face that greets people, they're able to talk intelligently about what's happening over here in Pinellas. So I'll move to the market and passenger traffic update. Of course, you know, we're not Tampa's airport. We serve the entire west coast of Florida. And when you expand that out to the entire region, it's about 5 million people. But when we talk specifically about Pinellas County, you can see it's more than 2,000 travelers that daily are coming from and to Pinellas County, and that represents about 22% of everybody that's flying in and out of Tampa International Airport. And so we thank you for your business. Now, this is our passenger traffic, and this closes out last calendar year. The dark blue line is the most recent 12 months, and the light gray line, as you can see, goes back to 2019, so pre-pandemic. And for the entire calendar year, total passenger traffic, you can see just a skosh behind where we were before the pandemic, but up almost 20% versus where we were a year ago. So very, very encouraging. When we look at international, and I'm sure you're hearing this from all of the people that you bring in to talk about the market, international was the slowest to recover because it was highly restricted. And for all of us that enjoy Pinellas's beautiful powdered sugar white sand beaches and our open space, that really helped us to land new visitors. And we're doing everything we can at the airport to make sure that the experience that we're providing as the first and last impression that people have keeps them coming back. Now, some major wins. Back in 2021, you'll recall we were not just a launch market, but the launch market for Breeze Airways. And this is a David Neeleman venture. He was the founder of JetBlue. He's the founder of Azul down in Brazil. Just yesterday, they announced 3 more destinations, so that's going to bring them to a total of 11, as well as Avelo, who launched with nonstop flights to Hartford, and they've added since an additional market. And then our nonstop flights to Frankfurt on Lufthansa were converted over to Eurowings Discover, and those flights are back in addition to our nonstop flights to Zurich within the Lufthansa group. So Europe has been thriving, and then last year was the triumphant launch of Virgin Atlantic. And this is our first ever set of nonstop flights going to London's Heathrow Airport. There are only 4 airports in the entire United States that have nonstop flights both to London's Gatwick Airport and Heathrow Airport. And for those of you that travel to London, you know there's a huge difference in the markets that they serve, and London is a giant market itself. And so these Virgin Atlantic flights are off to a great start. In fact, in the month of December, Virgin Atlantic served 10,800 passengers. British Airways also served 10,800 passengers, and that was Virgin Atlantic's first full month of daily nonstop flights. So just a tremendous success. And I've got a short video just to remind you of the fun that we had around the launch.
So I expect the most important thing is, do I deserve to wear a Buccaneers t-shirt? I am a pirate. Now, I know that you didn't know that. As a pirate, it's great to have taken over Tampa. The only way that people can get to Britain from Tampa and go to the main airport there, Heathrow, is Virgin Atlantic. In life, your partner is everything, and many years ago, we partnered with Delta.
We work as a team. We win as a team here in Tampa. That's the way it's always been for us. We're so privileged to have two of the best airline brands at America's favorite airport.
Are you ready to go to London? Oh my gosh, this is so exciting. But I was talking with Russ Kimball before the meeting started. I can draw a straight line from the Sheraton Sand Key to Richard Branson walking down the stairs of that flight. And that's because for years and years and years, he's hosted the Delta Global Sales team on his beach for their annual retreat to talk about strategy and where they want to go in the future. And several years ago, the head of global sales came to me and said, the number one thing that we're hearing from the market is we need Delta to create nonstop connectivity to London. That isn't normally how we win flights, when the sales team of an airline is pressing ahead with the business case. And so led by sales, we've got network planning on board, and eventually they decided to bring that flight to fruition. Now, it's a metal neutral joint venture between Virgin Atlantic and Delta. Delta actually owns 49% of the company. And when you saw the speakers on the stage, right next to Shai Weiss, the CEO of Virgin Atlantic, you had Ed Bastian, who's the CEO of Delta Airlines. That's how important this Tampa Bay region is to the SkyTeam Alliance and to Delta and Virgin Atlantic specifically. Some other recent wins you may have seen. We're delighted that Alaska Airlines is bringing back our nonstop flights to San Diego. There's a lot of people in California that enjoy our beautiful beaches here because we've got white sand and warm water, which they do not have in California. As a California native, I can tell you for sure. But also the military connectivity is going to help make that flight a success. Our second nonstop market in Puerto Rico, Aguadilla. This is an investment of Frontier Airlines, who has continued to grow and increase their market share. And so we're delighted to have them continuing to grow. Now, this is the nonstop route map for Tampa International Airport. All those blue dots. I'm super excited. When you look at the West Coast, when I got here, the only flights that we had were red eyes going out to LAX. Now you can see from the north, Seattle, Portland, San Francisco, and San Diego now being added in. Those are huge, huge wins, especially when you consider we've got two airlines competing in Seattle. We've got two airlines competing in San Francisco, and we've got now 4 airlines competing with nonstop flights to LAX. And anytime that we're able to bring not just nonstop flights, but also competition, that brings down average fares, that stimulates demand, and that brings more visitors to the Tampa Bay region. You're probably wondering, well, what are those? You got blue dots and you got those kind of gold dots. The gold dots represent markets that were not served before the pandemic began. And there's almost 20 of those dots that are up there represented. There are very, very few places in the United States that can brag that they have that many more places served than before the pandemic. Now, where are we going to go next? We're in the process of finalizing our air service development strategic plan, but I thought the question might come up, and so wanted to share with you. These are our top unserved markets. So you can see SMF is Sacramento out in California, a lot of West Coast that continues to be looking for additional service. SNA is John Wayne, Orange County, California, and SJC is San Jose, California. Then when you look at international, I'm sure those of you that helped us celebrate the new nonstop flights to Amsterdam on Delta Airlines before the pandemic started saying, when's that coming back? Because it really was successful. And so we're in constant communication with Delta Airlines, both their sales and network planning teams, and we're optimistic that as they rebuild their fleet and they have the capacity to bring that flight back online, that we will see it come back to Tampa Bay. We work really, really hard to keep our relationships alive with all of the network planners, the people that actually make the decisions about where airlines put their airplanes. And so just as I saw Steve actually as well at the Roots World Conference in Las Vegas, you can see we had 37 individual one-on-one airline meetings where we put together bespoke packages to analyze individual route opportunities with every single one of these airlines. And probably half of the airlines, they actually reached out saying, we see all the success that's coming to Tampa International Airport. We want to meet with you. We want to understand how we can be a part of that too. So the future is very, very bright for our region. Now, I'll pivot to growth and modernization. We are in the final components of a master plan update. Our prior master plan, you may remember, is a 3-phase program. The first thing we did was decongest our roadways, expand the main terminal, and that overhauled all of our restaurants, bars, and shops. We also put in the SkyConnect automated people mover, which just celebrated its anniversary yesterday. And all of those things are functioning really, really well. Phase 2 is our roadway network and our express curbsides. And then finally, phase 3 is a new 16-gate international and domestic airside. And we are underway now hiring the design builder who will deliver that facility for us. Now, I want to pause for a second and just ask, show of hands, has anybody used our new Blue Express curbsides? Thank you, thank you. Yes, yes. Well, we appreciate that. And our Blue Express curbs right now are accommodating more than 20% of all of the people who travel to and from Tampa International Airport. We're the first airport in the nation to be able to offer this kind of an amenity, and it's just an unparalleled level of convenience. We think it's going to be super successful. It's also going to be key to our overall strategy of going from the 23 million passengers we serve today to the 36 million passengers ultimately that we want to serve from this existing terminal complex once Airside D is online. Speaking of Airside D, so right now on the image that you see on the left, it's basically a big open parking lot. Maybe when you fly and you're taxiing out to the runway, you've seen UPS and Amazon Prime aircraft that are out there. That's where they park and load and do all of their business. We're building new facilities for them on the east side of the airfield so that we can build this new facility here. And as you can see, $787 million budget. And it is going to provide the highest level of service for all passengers that are going to be flying in and out there. It's going to be absolutely spectacular. So what I'll do here, if you'll join me, we'll just take a quick tour of the facility. And I'll draw your attention to, on the outside of the building, where the gates attached to the building, you can see there are like boxes that are everywhere along. Those are vertical circulation cores. And what they do, as soon as you come into your gate, you come up an elevator or escalator, and that puts you at a mezzanine level, which is going to be separated from all of the passengers that are getting ready to board flights. This keeps you isolated so that you're ready to clear international customs. If you're a domestic passenger, you just walk right in with the general public. You'll come up, you'll grab your bags. This is the newest iteration of how customs is processing passengers, bags first. And then that way you only talk to one officer when you hit that checkpoint there. Then super convenient, back down the escalator, onto the train, and to the main terminal. Feels very intuitive, just like the way Tampa International Airport operates. We love the layout of that new facility because rather than arriving and going down into the basement after you've been on a plane for 13 hours, you're going to be up above, bathed in light, and it's going to be a really fabulous experience. And that was fun. Let's turn around and go back. Up above, you can see an outdoor mezzanine level. That's where the airline clubs are going to be located. That's about 10,000 feet of outdoor space. Let people get that fresh air and a little breeze in their hair before they get on a flight. You'll get off of the train and you'll walk straight into a modern, appropriately sized security checkpoint. And we're working with TSA to make sure that it's specified to be able to accommodate all the technology that's going to come in the future. Recompose, and then immediately you're into our concessions. And we're going to maintain that flavor of the region as you come in. Then you are going to integrate our shops along the way, and you can see as you walk in, we're using technology to help celebrate the region, promote our beautiful beaches, as well as just a general wonderful ambiance that we think is going to set the stage for the first impression and the last impression that people have when they come and go from our region. So that is a view of Airside D, kind of in a nutshell. As I said, we've got the design builder selection process that's going right now, and we are on target to deliver this and begin operations at the end of 2027, first part of 2028. I told you I was going to tell you how to save money on parking, so one more audience participation. Can I just see a show of hands? Has anybody booked their parking online when they're traveling at Tampa International Airport? Steve Hayes, saving the county money, and thank you for your business. Let me tell you why you need to do this. Super easy. Go to tampaairport.com, click on parking. If you book your parking online right now, today, all of our parking lots that are available online are $2 per day cheaper. And so you're able to save that money, but even more importantly, at our peak periods, like during Thanksgiving and Christmas, when our parking lots were super congested and at certain times of the day we had to close access to our long-term lot or our economy lot, if you had a reservation, you go right through the gate and you're straight in. In addition to that, we were able to open up 2, have you ever heard of ghost restaurants, or ghost kitchens? It's a restaurant concept where there's no place that you sit, but there's a kitchen that exists and you have a menu and you order your food and they bring it to you. Well, we created basically ghost parking lots, 2 of them that didn't exist for any time of the year except at Thanksgiving and Christmas. And the only way that you would have known about them is if you go to tampaairport.com to pre-book your parking. And then that's how you were able to get into these lots at a super discounted rate. So we've got loyalty rewards. It's cheaper to book online. And I really encourage you, the next time that you're traveling, check it out, tampaairport.com. We win awards all the time, and you've seen that for all the years that you've been here in Pinellas County. I know that we're all proud of Tampa International Airport. This award is the first time in our history, J.D. Power and Associates. And this is the one, I don't know about you, I grew up watching Honda and Toyota ads, and they always seem to make a big deal out of J.D. Power. Well, I tell you what, when you're holding that J.D. Power award, it's heavier than it looks, on TV. But it's something that all of us in the entire region, I think, can really take pride in. That everybody says they want to be world class. This proves our region has the receipts. We are world class, and there's a reason that the entire industry comes to Tampa Bay to understand what's happening here. I am even more proud of this, that for the last 5 years in a row, the Tampa Bay Times has, through their surveys, determined that Tampa International Airport is one of the top workplaces for the region. Could not be more proud of our team, and I think the results really speak for themselves, that we serve Joe Lopano and our board, and it's great vision and great teamwork that makes all of this happen. So that's the end of my update. And again, I want to say a huge thank you to Steve Hayes and to all of you on the TDC for your constant support for the going on 13 years that I've been here. There's never been any daylight between Visit St. Pete Clearwater and Tampa International Airport. We stand shoulder to shoulder when we are out winning the business. We stand shoulder to shoulder when an airline makes that investment in our region. And we just really come together to help make sure that that airline is a success. And I guarantee you that the team from Virgin Atlantic, they're looking at the fact that they're serving the same number of passengers as British Airways, and they're saying, I wouldn't have dreamed that was possible. But that comes because we have this collaboration and this support with our community partners, and we just really, really appreciate that. So, Madam Chair, that's all that I have for you.
That was excellent. So thank you so much, and I look forward to flying through Airside D. And 2027 seems like an awfully long way away, but in reality, it isn't.
Blink of an eye.
So, yes, Mayor Hibbard.
Thank you for the presentation. Just a couple quick questions.
Yes, sir.
Is there any potential that we're going to get a Centurion Lounge and Clear?
I'll take them in that order then. Centurion Lounge, the only airside today that has shell space that is prepared to fit out a lounge is airside A. That's where United Airlines, JetBlue, and Spirit currently operate. We've met with a number of different operators. Unfortunately, the size of that particular airside has meant that none of them have said, yes, we definitely want to come in and make the multi-million-dollar investment. We hear from people that love the Centurion product. As we look to airside D, what we have designed is 18,000 square feet of interior space and another 10,000 square feet of external space. And what we're anticipating is that the anchor tenant would have part of that, and then we would retain part of it for a third-party lounge operator. And so Centurion might be one that we would talk to. With respect to Clear, we hear from people that are Clear users, and the challenge that we have at Tampa International Airport is that our security checkpoints really are not sized to be able to carve out additional lanes for the Clear product. And if you use Clear, maybe you use your particular Clear product, but it turns out there are multiple flavors of Clear that you have to be able to accommodate if you want to have a full build, because you've got, call it Clear regular, if you don't have pre-check, then you've got Clear pre-check, and then there's another expedited Clear or something. Anyway, it's a lot of square footage that is required, and our facilities simply weren't designed for it. We have projects that are expanding our security checkpoints, and so we're saying that might be something that we could look at in the future. But the other piece is, generally, I'll ask a person who asks us about Clear if they've had a bad experience with their security checkpoint. And for the most part, the lines at Tampa International Airport are the shortest of all large hub airports in the entire nation. Generally speaking, it's about a 10-minute security checkpoint wait time. If you're a Delta traveler, you've been challenged with a security checkpoint because, well, number one, it's built on a slope. Number two, the queuing space that's in front of that security checkpoint is not adequate for the number of passengers that queue. The throughput is good, but it creates kind of a crowd, and we don't like that. So we've got a project in total, about $70 million, that we will invest over the next 2 years to expand the security checkpoints at Airside E and also over at Airside A. But sorry, that's a much longer answer than you asked for, but that's where we are.
Yes.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Chris, great presentation. Thanks for everything for all of us that you're doing at Tampa International Airport. I just want to commend you. You get a lot of interest when you see a Virgin Atlantic, big news story. But this week's news story was near and dear to my heart and a lot of people's heart when they announced the New England new nonstop. So that's very exciting to a lot of us that travel up to New England. So thank you.
Absolutely. And so that's on Breeze Airways, and they, as I said, they were the very first flight ever in their history was Tampa to Charleston. That happened about 18 months ago. I just had my first flight on Breeze 2 weeks ago. I took my son on a quick up and down trip to Charleston. And if you haven't flown Breeze, their tagline is they want to be the nicest airline. And in fact, when you book your seats, you have nice, nicer, and nicest are their three classes of service. But, just a couple of interesting bits. They use technology like no other airline. So you book your flights through the app, and the app recognizes when you're approaching the airport, and it says, oh, are you ready to check in? No problem. When you get on the plane, this is a mind bender to me. They said, if you'd like to order anything, just ring your flight attendant button. And so I had my son enjoying the window seat so he could see the view, and I'm sitting on the aisle, and I'm accustomed to getting my elbow bumped with the carts. There isn't a cart on that plane because they come to you. I saw you rung your flight attendant button. What can I get you? Well, I would like the M&Ms, please. Okay, and they go back and they get the M&Ms and they do the transaction. And it's so friendly and easy. The airplanes are brand new, and the crews are incredibly friendly. So. We love all of our airlines, but if you haven't had a chance to fly Breeze, really book your tickets now. They're wonderful.
Yes, Russ.
This question is for Steve and Chris, maybe. Can you update us on the budget and what we spend or what we have potentially to spend to develop airline routes? I know we did it with the Virgin Atlantic, we did it with, over the years, Copa and everybody else. How do we do that and how much a year do we budget for that?
Thanks, Mr. Kimball, and a great question. So process-wise, that's where we work closely, like in this case with Mr. Minner and his team. But we do the same thing with St. Pete Clearwater International as well. And what will happen is usually the airport will come in and say, hey, we're talking to XYZ airline. Here is the opportunity. And we'll talk about the type of service, how frequent, let's use, the case of Virgin. I mean, Chris sat down with us and also with Visit Tampa Bay and said, hey, here's what this is going to be, and here's what this could mean for us if we get this service. What kind of investment as a group can we make together? So in the case of Tampa International, and maybe Chris can expand a little bit further, that's a lot of times on that's a joint co-op, not only with the airport, but also with Visit Tampa Bay and us. And then there'll be a dollar amount that'll be determined from there. And Chris has, I hate to say a magic formula, but it's kind of along that line. And Chris, I don't know if you want to elaborate further on that part.
Thank you, Steve. Yes, the way that our Air Service Incentive Program works at Tampa International is we offer a 2-year waiver of all of the variable costs that an airline would operate. And then we also put marketing incentive dollars on the table as well. And it's different for domestic versus international. On the international side, it's up to $750,000 over a 2-year period that we provide as marketing reimbursements that is paid directly from the Hillsborough County Aviation Authority. If it's a new airline, they qualify for a one-time $250,000 amount that they can spend in year 1. And then in year 1 and year 2, there's another $250,000 each that they're able to use because it's a new market that they're serving. And so what we do, Steve was alluding to, is we do a full pro forma analysis with a market forecast to understand what is the inbound-outbound split, how many visitors does this create, how many Tampa Bay residents are likely to be on this flight. We generate an analysis of what is the economic impact of the flights that we're pursuing so that everybody can understand really what's at stake, and then also what is the airport putting in, what's our skin in the game, before we make that ask and say, if we were to win this flight, what would it be? What would you be willing to put on the table? But that only happens, Visit St. Pete Clearwater is only able to do that because this TDC understands the value of the investment that we make in these nonstop flights. The last time that we analyzed the economic impact of a nonstop flight to London, we modeled British Airways, and it was $154 million, which at the time, the value of bringing the Super Bowl to your community was roughly estimated at $300 million. This is many years ago. And so what we would say is that, when you get an international daily nonstop flight, that's like bringing the Super Bowl to your community every 2 years and every 2 years thereafter, because these airlines come and they stay. We are updating our economic impact analysis right now, and the latest numbers that we are seeing on the estimates for this Virgin Atlantic flight are higher than $240 million. And so we're finalizing those calculations now, but we all win together when we're able to make these flights work.
Go ahead, Steve.
The other thing I was just going to add as well is then budget-wise, what we'll do is we will build into the advertising budget any commitments that we have or think we might have going forward. So as we start the budget process for next year, first thing Katie's going to say is, all right, are we looking at the airlines development for next year? And then we'll go to Mr. Minner and say, what's out there. And he keeps us updated and said, here's what the possibilities could be. And then build some dollars in there. And so there is some set dollars. And Katie, I don't recall at the top of my head this year, but it's probably close to 300 between what we have with St. Pete Clearwater plus Tampa International. Am I in the ballpark? Okay. Yeah, so like we have with Swoop. We take each of those things on a case-by-case basis, but it's, again, it helps in developing that air service, especially when you had something like Virgin come to the table. But when we look at St. Pete Clearwater International, in the Canadian market, and if they can add additional nonstop out of there, from another city that we're currently not being served, then we can certainly support that.
I just want to say, Chris, thank you for all that TIA and you and Joe do in this development and believing in it. I started out with Ben Atkins, who was Pan Am marketing. The world was his territory when he was Pan Am, and he retired to here. He taught us Europe, where it was and everything. It's come unbelievable. And these co-op programs. And when I still get the phone call from Delta Global Sales, I couldn't take it. They ended up in Tampa, even though, so they stayed in the region. But when it happens, it's like TIA, transportation, Columbia restaurant, a meal, a beach party, whatever it is, and everybody says yes, and it's been like that since the early 80s. And I just want to thank you and everybody over there.
And we thank you. We win as a team, and you've always been a top supporter for us, and we appreciate you.
Mayor Wojciechowski.
Thank you, Madam Chair. What was your percentage increase of travelers coming through there? I didn't write it down.
I didn't remember it off the top of my head. From last year, stand by. I'll just bring us back to, there we go. So this is total passenger traffic, and what you can see is versus last year, up 18.8% for the entire calendar year, but that's still 4.3% behind where we were before the pandemic. So we served 21.5 million passengers in 2022, and we're on track to serve more than 23 million passengers this year.
Which will bring us above 2019.
Significantly above, yeah.
So
yeah.
I guess my question is, it's kind of I don't want to call it rhetorical, but between the airport, Visit St. Pete Clearwater, PSTA, Forward Pinellas, and the county, is anybody sitting down to talk about these increases and what they are going to do from a transportation need sector? Is anybody talking about that?
Yes.
Is anybody on staff talking about it? I mean, I know we're talking about it. I'm looking at him. I want to know if he's ever been in a meeting to talk about it and what we need to do based on our strategic planning report. And it says on there that we need a better transportation or transit.
I have not sat in on a meeting, but I don't believe I've been invited to a meeting where that is being discussed. And maybe that's one that we need to initiate. But
I mean, I just think it's important when we hear stuff like this that if we're advertising to increase tourism, which I absolutely agree with, totally support, I think we have to have infrastructure to support it. And I think we drop the ball sometimes to not. Are you guys talking about it at all? How you get people from the airport to wherever they're going to go?
Madam Mayor, we definitely are. And I referenced our master plan. And I think that the county is going to be hearing from our CEO, Joe Lopano, in the August timeframe at the conclusion of our master plan update. Because what the FAA requires is every 5 to 7 years, you look 20 years over the horizon to what are the unconstrained demands for facilities at your terminal. And when we look at that, the amount of traffic that we're going to see on that horizon is pretty staggering. And what will happen is it will exceed the capacity of the existing terminal complex at Tampa International Airport. With Airside D coming online, we have about 15 years of capacity left. And then we have to look at what comes next. And if you've been here in the region for a while, you may recall that there was a vision that was laid out many years ago for a north terminal complex. That is an opportunity area that remains. And that would give Tampa International Airport the ability to double the ultimate capacity of the existing terminal complex. So imagine 70 million passengers as opposed to the 23 that we're going to serve this year. It would be irresponsible of Tampa International Airport not to think ahead and to be prepared to serve that kind of traffic. But also we recognize that People can't fly here 580 miles an hour just to sit at 0 miles an hour on a road because there isn't the infrastructure to get people around. So 1,000%, we agree with you that the region needs to have that capacity.
Thank you, and thanks for the update. Appreciate it.
Anyone else? Phil?
Just curious, what's the benefit to the airport for providing the online parking at a lower rate?
Well, it's a great question. The benefit to the airport for the online booking system is manifold. Number one, it was a lifesaver for us at the holidays this year. There's no way that we could have accommodated all of our peak season travelers without having closed lots and potentially closed all of our lots and just causing real challenges for the traveling public. When we have the online booking system, we're able to steer travelers to where parking is available. And we do that by saying if we can see that on a given day, the long-term parking garage, for example, is getting close to full. And right now, for those of you that travel, you may have seen we have a lot of construction that's happening in that facility. We'll close it online, and then people will see, oh, it's already full, and they'll book in economy or they'll book in the short-term lot. And so we're able to provide a higher level of service. But then also, we talked about the rewards program. And so if you book online 10 times, then we have the ability to reach out to you and say thank you. And we can say thank you by sending you a gift certificate for a free cocktail or a free cup of coffee. We can send you an upgrade to the next higher class of parking. If you normally park in the economy garage, try long-term on us. And so those kinds of things that add value for our users, but also it gives us a direct pulse on our traffic activities. When you fly at Tampa International Airport and you scan your boarding card, that creates a record for us that we're able to see on a dashboard to understand passenger travel dynamics, which airlines people are flying in real time. But this ability to use an online booking system gives us a real-time forecasting tool to understand who's going to be coming to the airport in the days, weeks, and months ahead. So just across the board, it's been a tremendous benefit to us. And the users, we've done several focus groups with people that are using the online booking system. People love it. So anyway, that's the answer.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Great. Okay, anybody else? With that said, thank you so much, Chris. As always, it's a pleasure hearing the update, and I cannot wait until Mr. Lopano comes in August.
Yay.
To tell us the rest of the story.
Very good. All right. Thank you so much, everybody.
Have a great day. Thanks a bunch. All right, and now I would like to bring up Brian Lowak. Brian gave this presentation to, I've been listening to it for a while now, but I'm excited for the rest of you to hear. So without further ado.
Well, good morning, Madam Chair and Tourist Development Council. Brian Lowak, Intergovernmental Liaison, Pinellas County. And while I enjoy giving the presentation that I believe you're speaking of, this one's going to be extremely condensed and focused on items that impact your industry. So Steve asked me to come out and give this update, and because we are early in the process in Tallahassee, not a lot has been filed that impacts your industries yet. You all know that that can change very quickly. So far to date, there's been 7 bills that have been filed related to your work, and I'll jump right into those. The first issue is vacation rentals, and there's actually been 3 bills filed today. 2 of those are companion bills, and those simply allow local governments to require contact information from vacation rental owners and operators. This week, our own Senator DeCeglie actually filed a bill, Senate Bill 714, which isn't included in the list that you have. And I just briefly got to look over this in advance of this meeting, but that's related to vacation rentals. And this is a more comprehensive bill on vacation rentals, and if something does move this session on this issue, I anticipate it would probably be this framework. High level, this would preempt the regulation of advertising platforms to the state, and it would also require advertising platforms to collect and remit taxes to the state. It additionally allows local government some additional authority in their ordinances, specifically related to registration, collection of fees, and the imposition of fines. And then finally, it establishes license requirements for vacation rentals. So while you don't have that in your packet today, I would encourage you, if you are interested, to look up Senate Bill 714 and Senator DeSigli. I'm sure most of you know where to get a hold of him to discuss that bill further. The next item was tourist development tax, and this is one that we always keep a watch on. This one's pretty straightforward and simply allows fiscally constrained coastal counties to use up to 10% of their TDT for public safety services required to address the impacts related to increased tourism. So it's pretty narrowly focused. It would only impact 7 coastal communities up in the Panhandle that are fiscally restrained. And then finally, the Entertainment Industry Tax Credit Program. And this would create the Florida First Production Partnership Pilot Program. The program would offer eligible film and television production projects a rebate if certain criteria are achieved. And the eligibility for those would be films with the, appropriate expenditures of at least $1.5 million, television projects with at least $500,000 in expenditures per episode, and digital media projects with at least $1.5 million in eligible expenditures. The bill also appropriates a total of $80 million over the next 4 years for that program, and it would sunset the program at the conclusion in fiscal year 2028. Additionally, the governor did release his recommended budget a couple weeks ago, and while the legislature they're tasked with creating a budget and sending it to the governor, there are some key points that we typically see the governor and the legislature align on. One of those has been beach nourishment. This year, the governor recommends $50 million in his budget, and that's what we kind of consider fully funded. That's been the same funding level for the last few years for beach nourishment. Additionally, he does include $106 million for nourishment, specifically for counties that were impacted by Hurricanes Nicole and Ian. There's $5 million included for cultural and museum grants. And then finally, there's $100 million recommended for Visit Florida, which would be a 100% increase to the current funding level of Visit Florida. $100 million. It is. That's all I've got for you at this point in time. This is the second to last week of committee weeks before the start of regular session, which will start March 7th. I work closely throughout session with Steve and Attorney Zoss, so if there's anything that comes up, they will be made aware of it, and you'll be let known, and most of you know how to get in touch with me. And if there's ever anything I can discuss with you, if you ever have any questions, please don't hesitate to reach out to me.
Questions, anyone? Concerns? Anybody? Nothing?
One question, is there any other bills being proposed that are not tourist necessarily, but will relate to our industry that you've seen so far?
Not that I've seen so far. I did a pretty extensive look and tried to make a connection and say, maybe this could impact your industry, but so far to date, haven't seen much.
Steve?
Thank you, Madam Chair. I know that there's a couple of members of the Florida Restaurant and Lodging Association that are members of the council. I don't know if you guys want to comment on anything that you're seeing from FRLA's perspective that maybe that would help Brian be on the lookout for things as well, because you track things in a much broader perspective than even what we are.
I know there's several of us here that are part of the Florida Restaurant Lodging Association. We get together and do our tourism day and hit Tallahassee in mid-March. And at that time, we gather and review all the bills. So we haven't gotten that package yet, but we will probably the next couple weeks.
Anyone else? Brian, I have a question. I should have asked you this the other day when we were talking.
Yes,
What's
ma'am.
the last day for filing?
Well, in the House, that deadline has passed to get those bills into bill drafting. However, the first day of session at noon is the filing deadline. And obviously, the Senate has less restrictive rules with filing legislation.
Right. Okay. Well, once they go into a session, it's the amendments you have to watch out for. So I'm sure Brian will keep us updated, right?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. And now we are on to item 6 and department updates. Katie, I know you're back there behind the pillar. There you go. Come on up, please.
Good morning, everyone. I did want to add that I am excited too about the Breeze flights. Leora and I did a baby moon a couple years ago to Charleston, and my best friend lives in Portland, so we're excited to hop on that flight and get up to Maine. But today I wanted to talk to you about our Warm Up to Win integrated activation recap in New York. So in our budget this year, we had pinned New York as a market for a guerrilla integrated campaign. And so that took place this past month. The goal was to create a winter message, an activation overlay that positioned St. Pete Clearwater as the ideal destination for winter getaway and inspired our audience to engage with the St. Pete Clearwater brand. And so, and this was in New York City, so it created spectacular sweepstakes to get audiences excited about a potential trip to St. Pete Clearwater and inspire entry. We look to promote integrated messaging in that key fly market and focused on reaching New Yorkers through a high-profile pop-up event leading up to National Plan for Vacation Day and the New York Travel and Adventure Show. We did that through PR splash with earned media, a pop-up event to generate foot traffic, and lead generation through our sweeps entries. So we worked with Tradewinds Island Resorts, and they partnered with us to provide a sweepstakes for the chance for one lucky fan to win 5 years of free trips to Tradewinds. And why 5? Because there are endless ways to experience our destination. And it was definitely a PR hook when we mentioned at the pop-up events or at the travel show, sign up to enter to win 5 trips a year for the next, trip a year for the next 5 years. People's eyes went up and they were excited about that. So we thought that was a really good hook for PR buzz and excitement and entries, which you'll see in a minute has definitely paid off. We included the messaging so not only was the sweepstakes big with our New York campaign, but we took that sweepstakes component and put it on some of our other winter messaging. So in our gas station screens and our charging stations that we have running in our other key winter markets, we're promoting the sweepstakes and engaging with our audience that way, so taking it further. So the New York Travel and Adventure Show was January 28th and 29th. This is the largest show that they've had in New York City. It was a 2-day event. We had a 20-foot booth space there and welcomed consumers to stop by our booth. We had you can see here, we had a hot tub at the event where we had influencers stopping by. 3 New York City brand ambassadors came by to create content from our booth. We had a wheel that consumers could spin to win prizes on site and instantly. I unfortunately was not at this event, but our team there was telling me that they were having this joke that the only lines in the entire building was for our booth or the women's bathroom. So we had a lot of interest at our booth with people coming to hear more about St. Pete Clearwater and sign up, spin, enter our sweepstakes, and see what we have. Steve was also up there and got to present and introduce to a large group of people that were there for the sessions, and he got to introduce Samantha Brown in her speaking engagement, and we were able to play our commercial spot and share a few words about St. Pete Clearwater. So we got great presence out of this show. And then on January 31st, which aligned with the National Plan for Vacation Day, we did an experiential pop-up event in Herald Square, which is right across the Macy's, the world's largest department store, there on Herald Square. And we had a greenhouse, a real size, a tiki bar where we were serving drinks from. We had these wonderful Let's Shine letters that we to help create the space, and it popped with our yellow and our blues and our greens, and the tiki bar, the branded tiki bar. It really popped in the gray, wintry sky there in New York City. So we had outlets come by, and there on that bottom photo is Steve having an interview with WNBC, and they did a segment promoting what we were doing in New York City and our sweepstakes and getting people excited. We also had ambassadors and influencers come by, some that we had arranged in advance and some that came by and saw what we were doing, and they posted on their channels, and we got a lot of social coverage for the pop-up event. We also, through our relationship with our PR team at NJF, they did outreach to travel outlets, and we got coverage in articles like Thrillist, Yelp, and more, so significant earned media coverage for the pop-up event. And so, and I was here at this event, and it was awesome to see the people that were walking by, and a couple of people that came by were like, I was just looking up St. Pete, and so we were able to, talk to them and influence them and encourage them to book that trip. And then this was funny too, another person came by and she's like, I'm on a 3:00 flight tomorrow to Clearwater. So we were definitely, people were interested in us and they were familiar with us. We also had some people that came by and were like, I could really use a vacation. And we said, well, St. Pete Clearwater, we would love to welcome you. And we had Tradewinds staff with us there at the event too, talking to them about their product. And then all of our staff there was really, as people were signing up on the iPads for Enter the Trips, our team was interacting with them and sharing with them all about the destination. And here's just a good video recap that I'll play for you now. And so just a fun video there to kind of show you the scene. So everyone that stopped by and spun the wheel got a tote bag from us with a destination magazine, and hopefully they are at home planning their trips. And so results to date, So we attended 3 New York City media events, the 2 days at the Travel Adventure Show, and then our pop-up event. There was 21,000 attendees at the New York Travel and Adventure Show. Like I said, the organizers were reporting that that was their highest attended event. 1,700 attendees at our Warm Up to Win pop-up event in Herald Square. And sweepstakes entries, this was as of last Friday, almost 25,000 entries. And the sweepstakes does go through the end of March. A lot of social posts, 26 social posts from the influencers that we worked with, reaching 76,100 fans. But as I mentioned, a lot of others influencers came by and shared their content. We were encouraging at our booth, take a photo in front of our hot tub, take your photo and tag, and even at the drink at our tiki bar, in order to get a drink, you had to like us on Facebook and Instagram. So continuing that presence. 358 earned media placements, 216 million PR impressions, and 5 million of paid media impressions. We did a partnership with AM New York. So on the morning of, it's the paper that's in the subways. So really, if you were in that area around us, you could definitely find St. Pete Clearwater. It was we had some billboards around Herald Square promoting St. Pete Clearwater, so you couldn't miss us. And like I said, Sweeps is live through March 31st. We're continuing to run our gas station TV and EV charging stations. That runs through March 19th, promoting the sweepstakes. We'll continue to highlight the campaign with media outreach and through our newsletters. And what I'm excited about, too, is retargeting those sweeps entrants who opted into our database. So when anyone enters our sweepstakes, we ask them if you're interested in receiving emails from Visit St. Pete Clearwater. And a lot of people are interested, and so they check that box, and we'll work use that data as entry and send them a personalized message, knowing that where they came from and where they entered. So that was our campaign in New York. I'm really excited about it. The response that we saw from the New Yorkers is that they're interested in us. We haven't, with COVID, we haven't been in New York. We kind of went out of that market. We did some more with our Midwest, which our research was showing. But there is definitely potential in New York. And that's something that, as we're looking at budgets for next year, we're looking at what would it take to get us back in New York for a longer sustained presence, which I think there is some definite potential to do something more in New York. So,
Mayor Hibbert?
Thank you so much.
Great presentation. Looks like it was a huge success. What was the overall cost?
The overall cost was about $300,000.
Mayor Jalowski?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Javits Center, is that where you were?
Yes.
So I agree with Mayor Hibbert. It looks like you did a great job and, got attention. New York is definitely a place to be. They like to come to Florida, and getting them to come to our coast is a good thing. So my question to you is, what did you learn, or what did your team learn from all the other vendors that were there and what they were doing that you think we should be doing?
That's a really good question. Like I said, I was not at the travel show. I just came up for the pop-up event. I don't know, Steve probably walked the floors and could see. I know we had our line. There was a line to spin our wheel. But if you have any thoughts on what you saw?
I was going to say it was probably the opposite. They kept coming by our booth to say, wait a minute, why do you have lines?
So
and
you
we
were the
don't?"
shining star, is what you're saying?
No, not at all. It was a team effort. But
but I mean the organization was the
exactly.
Okay.
And the other thing too, and I did want to mention this. So you had where we had our booth, and then right next to us was the Tampa Bay Beaches Chamber, and so they were there. So we really had pretty much an aisle on one side. The only other one that would have had a closest of presence would have been the Keys. And after that, I mean, we were dominating from that perspective. So
that's awesome.
Yeah.
Good. Thank you.
Yeah, and I did want to thank our team. We have Brandy and Craig here, and they were a huge asset in getting all of our materials shipped there. We get to see getting all of that in New York with the timelines in the deadlines that we had was a major feat. So kudos to Brandy and Jake for all of that. And our team at BVK also came out and helped. And so, yes, as you mentioned, it was a true team effort.
Any other questions from the rest of the board?
A comment, if I may, Madam Chair.
Yes,
I
please.
just want to add to what Steve said, is that their presence there really enhanced. Bill Maher was represented with the Tampa Bay Beaches Chamber, and having Visit St. Pete Clearwater there really enhanced that. Some shows you've not been in attendance to, and it made a big difference and a big impact on all of the area.
That's really nice to hear. No, anyone else? No? All right, thank you so much, Katie. That was great.
Thank you.
Next is Craig Campbell, the Director of Community and Brand Engagement. Morning, Craig.
Good morning, everyone, and hope everyone had a great Valentine's Day. Again, Craig Campbell presenting on behalf of the Community and Brand Engagement Department. Katie, fabulous job as always. It's always so wonderful to work with you and collaborate with you. And as you mentioned, Jake and Brandy in attendance up in New York, and having the team up there, just fabulous job all around. Great recap. And kind of piggybacking off of your presentation there, Katie, I'm excited today to be here with you, provide a bit of a peek behind the curtain at how we bring events in our brand to life, and share some exciting updates about sort of the future of our department. And then after this community brand engagement update, I'll update you guys on the Elite Event Funding Program, and also have a nice little update from sports and events as well. So we'll kind of start at the beginning here. Our goals when we execute events and activations, first and foremost, elevate the VSPC brand. So what I mean by that is when we're at an event with 100+ exhibitors, vendors, what are we doing to distinguish ourselves, to have a bigger presence and create something more memorable for the attendee? Enhance the event. We have some spectacular assets at our disposal, so I'll show some images here in a few, but our very presence at these events elevates that event as well, and the event's better for us just participating. Engaging the target audience. So obviously a huge part of that equation is who we're engaging and how we're engaging, and we'll get into some of those details here shortly. Integrate our local partners. So as a standalone activation, we can do some spectacular things, but we have realized and welcome partners to integrate into our footprint with us, and it just elevates the experience that much more. And then provide support to other VSPC departments and their efforts, whether it's the meetings team, sports and events, leisure travel, LATAM. We're here to support their efforts. So looking at our assets, got some visuals here, and really we design our assets to check off the first two boxes here. So elevating the VSPC brand with something like this powerboat display. This is something we have access to on a year-round basis, and we will bring it out to an event, whether we have a footprint next to it. Regardless, it's a great visual, clearly, and on brand, all those things. The event is enhanced by its presence for sure. Having the boat in the lead at the MLK Dream Big Parade, there's 99 traditional floats behind us. We're the only one with a boat. So we distinguish ourselves, with its presence there as well. The welcome archway. So this is actually our most kind of frequently requested asset from event organizers. It's a great image here from Clearwater Beach Day for the ReliaQuest Bowl back in December. But something typically that, using Elite Events as a comparison, category 1s and 2s, those major events, well, they have budget and resources for their own archways. This is meant to be offered up to sort of those small, middle level events where they don't have the budget, and we can provide an asset that creates this grand entranceway for their event. Getting into some of the more like photo op, backdrop type opportunities. So we acquired a giant Adirondack chair this past June for the St. Pete Pride event. You can see a picture there on the left-hand side. It's been sort of on tour throughout the county, pushing our Unwind and Be Kind campaign. So it's been on display at Johns Pass, the St. Pete Pier, the holiday lights at the gardens in Largo, the Botanical Gardens, Pier 60. So it's making the rounds, and we actually just slapped a new coat of paint on it, and it's on display this weekend at the Tax Act Clearwater Invitational. So that's a fun new asset there. And then, of course, you saw the letters in the video, and if you attended the partner event we hosted last week, we have these just lovely Let's Shine giant letters here, and we're excited to kind of have that in the mix as far as a prominent branding asset at events. Then, of course, on top of these kind of larger assets, we have the mix of the tents, the signage, the flags, all that good stuff to help kind of enhance our footprint and brand recognition. And every event's a little bit different. So depending on the size of the event, size of our space, all these variables, we kind of put the puzzle pieces together, figure out the best scenario for each event. And every event is different too, as far as what audience is at that event and who we're going to be engaging with. So this weekend's a great example. We've got as I mentioned, the Tax Act Clearwater Invitational, 16 collegiate softball teams coming in from all over the country, mostly out of state. That event is mostly, if not 100%, visitors. So we have a specific message for those visitors that are in town for that. Versus Localtopia down in St. Petersburg. Local is in the name. It's going to be mostly, if not all, locals. So we have, and this is actually an exciting new campaign that I'm going to give you guys a sneak peek at. We are launching this weekend at Localtopia a Value of Tourism campaign. And what that will entail, and we've collaborated with BVK on this, Katie, Steve, had all sorts of input, but basically creating 3 to 5 data points that we want to convey to the local population on why they should care about tourism, the value that tourism brings to the local economy, and how we contribute to all sorts of different things that they may or may not know about. So a little sneak peek here on some of the assets that we will be layering into our footprints, again, starting at Localtopia this weekend, but it's phase 1 of sort of this integration, and we're starting off with signage plus a collateral piece that we can hand out to attendees. But you can see a couple of the data points here, and my eyes are not reading that so well, so apologies there. The one on the left here, so we'll have a wind sign that is prominently displayed within our footprint, but you can see the talking point here, which is tourism contributes $670.52 to our local economy every minute of every day. So that's a key point that we're going to be reinforcing with the locals. The next item here is a table sign. So something we'll have on the tabletop as they're signing up for a Register to Win. We can reinforce another key message point, which is another great local event brought to you by non-locals. Over the last decade, tourism has generated $124 million in support of local attractions, including world-renowned museums, sports facilities, events, and so much more. So we've lumped in capital funding, elite event funding into this message point. That again, just the locals may or may not realize the contributions that tourism makes. And then the collateral piece, kind of a business card size handout there. So a warm welcome to an event made possible by snowbirds. And then on the flip side of that is, again, the $670.52 generated every minute of every day. And then another factoid, nearly $5 million in beach renourishments have been paid for by tourism spending since 2022. So the data points still subject to change. We're tweaking those, kind of minute to minute here, but we're starting to hone in on what that will look like. And honestly, we are just beyond thrilled. We're well overdue for a campaign like this, and this will be an emphasis of ours moving forward. So come scope it out at Localtopia this weekend. And then I mentioned the visitors. So similar on-brand messaging to the Value of Tourism campaign, but geared towards visitors. So when you think about their experience, our interaction with them has been this Let's Shine campaign. So whether they've seen it on billboards, TV, heard about it on radio, print ads, all that good stuff, we are continuing that message of Let's Shine here when they're in the destination. And of course, we provide resources, information, want to make sure that they are enjoying their experience in the destination as much as possible. Come back and see us again. And visitors locals enjoy the resources and info as well. And then kind of at the end of the day here, we do collect data for future marketing purposes, signing an individual up at a craft beer festival. Okay, now you're in the Gulf Coast database. So we can have strategic communications based off of who we're gathering information from and where. Excuse me. So number 4 here, integrating our local partners. This is a great slide. Just some examples here of recent partners that have joined us in our footprints. So Creative Pinellas at the Piedmont Park Arts Festival in Atlanta. We, of course, had the Unwind and Be Kind campaign here locally. So Keep Pinellas Beautiful, the Hippo Gourmet Ice Pops, and then Trade Winds we've discussed in New York City. So my takeaway here is the variety of the partners. We got a hotelier there, kind of a food vendor, sustainability partner, and then the arts. So every partner brings sort of a different flavor to our footprints, which is awesome. And we continue to look forward to do that. Creative Pinellas, I want to highlight specifically as a success story. So the Piedmont Park Arts Festival was kind of a first date of sorts of an integration with them, and it was a great experience. Barbara stood up here back in September, I believe it was, and reported how successful things went on her end. And we continued that success in November. So we worked with Creative Pinellas and had a booth with them up in Orlando for Fiesta at the Park. It was a kickoff to their Arts Month. So and we're continuing that momentum still, and they're going to join us at Localtopia this weekend. So just a shout out to a great partner there in Creative Pinellas. And then support. So you guys understand, everyone understands the many moving parts of the organization, and we're happy to provide support when requested. So wanted to just kind of highlight some examples of how we've activated, enhanced some of our kind of colleagues within VSPC and their efforts. So example on the left, meetings and conventions, bringing a sand sculpture artist out to their footprint at Connect Marketplace. Community relations, big cleanup, having our Adirondack chair out there. Some of our backdrops there for the film festival, the Virgin Atlantic inaugural flight there, having some more branding out there. Even snuck in trade show with our friends at Pinellas County Economic Development, major manufacturing trade show in Chicago, so co-branding there, and Yeah, I can assure you our booth was the best looking booth there. And then LATAM, they had a VIP at the Wyndham not too long ago. And then, of course, the big ones. So Katie touched on the New York City footprint, but where else have we been out of market? This time last year, we were at the Tampa Bay Lightning, Nashville Predators outdoor game in Nashville. And just a couple months before that, Zoo Lights in Lincoln Park Zoo. So we're here to support everyone, and we can mobilize, kind of scale up, scale down, depending on the event and the opportunity. And then, of course, kind of wrapping things up here, full circle with the New York Warm Up to Win campaign a couple weeks ago. And I do want to highlight, everything you see there on the left-hand side, all those assets, those are in-house assets. We control those, everything but the hot tub, essentially. And Steve, I want to talk about maybe a purchase there. But yeah, we made everything from the backdrops, the flooring, the wheel, the iPads, the umbrella stands, all of our assets, in use there, good use, and really stood out, as you could tell. So that's kind of where we've been, and here's what's coming up. Just in the next month and a half, we have 13 events queued up on our schedule, all local events. Again, Localtopia this weekend, TaxAct Clearwater Invitational, a couple BMX races in Oldsmar, the Firestone Grand Prix, first time we've activated there in 3 or 4 years, Valspar Championships, so lots of big ones. And just kind of geographically where we're going to take this Value of Tourism campaign. And just in the next 6 weeks here, Clearwater, St. Pete, Oldsmar, Dunedin, Palm Harbor. So checking a lot of the communities off there, and we're certainly going to endeavor to hit all of them. Spread that word. So next, Katie gave a shout out. Definitely want to recognize the team here. Brandy Bolden and Jake Herman, they do all the heavy lifting here, make it all happen, make our brand kind of come to life at these events. So thank you so much to the team. You do a fabulous job, and we're lucky to have you. And that concludes my brand activations portion, if there are any questions.
Mayor Wojcicki.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Great presentation, thank you. The signage, the branding on tourism and why that's good for locals. As you're sort of scoping it out and seeing how people react to it, I think it might be a good idea to have something a little bit more permanent on some of the buildings that we've helped build. I have a stadium in my city that you can attach something to that tells people, because we have a lot of locals that come, right? And if there's something permanent or can be rotated out that says, hey, $40 million of this was paid for by tourism or something, and I think that would apply to other locations as well.
Beautiful, love that. You want to touch on that?
So I just throw it out there as an idea, because, let's face it, our locals do get annoyed certain times of the year with the sheer mass of people that come. So I think some of these buildings can have that kind of thing too. Thank you.
Great idea.
Anyone else? Steve?
Madam Chair, Mayor, on that, I agree. I think right now, even within, like Penny for Pinellas, the local option sales tax, they will identify how things are used. So to do the same thing, what TDT has supported over the years is good. This is a great start. I guess one of the things when we did the resident survey last year, I think it's 85% feel that tourism has a positive impact on the communities, which is good. We still got, let's raise that number. And so this is just some of those easy steps. So great suggestion on of identifying those projects where those dollars have been spent. The other thing I wanted to mention too, and again, for New York, that whole activation, I mean, it was Brandy and Jake that were, and then working also with the team from BVK, that literally set that booth up and then tore the booth down, and then on that Tuesday had to reset it up. And just to give you an idea of what it was like, is it started off with a light rain, and the temperature was about 33, 32, which then turned it into a little bit of sleet, which then the wind would blow and poof, it turned into snow. And by the time the event was opening up, I think the sun peaked out a little bit. Otherwise, it was cloudy, and I think the wind chill made it feel like 28. And they were there busting their you-know-what to make it look good. So I really want to say thank you to Brandy and Jake for making that happen, because they, I mean, the fact that, you know, they were wearing, I think it was Brandy went and bought a jacket to put underneath her jacket over the top of her sweater, just because it was that cold up there. But that's the things they're doing externally. But I think important is internally the activations, and a lot of the events that Craig showed up there are elite events where we have provided funding. And so to have that kind of visibility, and typically we've gone and had the visitor message, but I think having that local message as well speaks then to the residents that are, again, showing up there. So again, kudos to Craig and his team for what they do each and every weekend, I should say. That's what it seems like.
Careful, Steve, they're going to ask for hazardous duty pay.
Let me write that down.
Mayor Hibbard?
No, I would, I think Julie's recommendation for putting signage is a great idea. We are getting the complaints already. And what I think, is another message that we really need to send is a lot of the traffic issues are not caused by the tourists who are coming and staying at hotels. They rent a car over at TIA, they drive it over to the beach, they give it to the valet, and then 7 days later, they get it from the valet and drive it back to the airport. Don't get it, but I know that's what happens. A lot of the traffic is really coming from our locals, folks coming from Hillsborough, Pasco County, and that's where a lot of the congestion is.
I agree with you. I would also like to point out, given that I serve on a lot of the transportation boards, not only in Pinellas but around the region, that message doesn't always impact the people that complain, because there's a lot of people, believe it or not, that just don't want to see progress when it comes to improving public transportation options. And that's just a fact. So when you wonder why we haven't made more progress, it takes a lot of tough backbone and leadership to be able to stand up against the folks that don't want to see progress, because without it, where would we be? We know it's going to come whether we plan for it or not. So keep that in mind, because it's not easy. Otherwise, these issues would have been solved 50 years ago. Thank you. Please continue. Anybody else have any questions, concerns, whatever? No? Okay. Go forward.
All right, on to the next phase here. Elite events. So, yeah, the calendar has turned. It's time to dive into elite events yet again. In your packets, you should have received the guidelines. And if you notice, there are no red lines in the guidelines, as we are not recommending any changes. So that's kind of good news, and I'm kind of looking at Michael Zoss. I don't know if this is a first, where we've never had any changes to the guidelines.
This is the first time. You're correct.
All right. So really kind of kudos to you all here, and Steve, you guys did a deep dive into the program last year, and it was a major overhaul, and I think kind of well-received on the event organizer side of things. If you recall, we had a record number of applicants last year, and a record request, almost hit the $2 million budget request, but we're not recommending any changes. That said, there are a few areas that we will look to clarify with the organizers. A couple of them are listed here. So defining broadcast, what does that mean exactly? We had a couple organizers confused, thought maybe some national PR opportunities would qualify as broadcast. That's not the case. So we're going to have a better, a clearer definition of what that means. Some smaller things here, the event just needs to get registered with the state of Florida. It's more administrative than anything. It's easy to do, but we need to reinforce that with the organizers. And then post-event, we've had some organizers just take their time submitting their reports, and by time, I mean like months and months. So we end up tracking them down. So we'll reinforce these things with the organizers, reset some expectations during the application process. And I want to give you all a sneak peek of what that timeline looks like. So today's sort of the first mention of Elite Events, and we are looking to host a public information meeting. The format of that is to be determined, and the timing as well. Could be virtual, could be in person, but that is really the only unknown at this point, because we plan to launch the applications starting March 3rd. So this is a month earlier than typical. It's usually been sort of an April 1 to May 1 window. We've shifted that a month earlier now, and hope that gives us a little bit more breathing room kind of on the back end to work out our deal terms, get to an agreements. To give you an idea, out of the 35 or 31 events that were approved for funding this year, 15 of those were in the first quarter, so October 1 through the end of December. That was a heavy lift to get all those deal terms in place in time. So we need that extra month. So launching the application, March 3rd, deadline, end of March. So similar window, 4 full business weeks, should be ample time to get their applications in. And then we go into our internal review process. Thought this was well received last year. VSBC staff with BVK, some other internal stakeholders, Mr. Zoss and others. We'll have our internal review with the plan to present recommendations and have you review at our budget workshop on Wednesday, May 17th. So that'll be another agenda item for the 17th there. And then, of course, following that, BCC review in either June or July. So that's kind of the updated timeline there. Am I missing anything, Steve? Okay.
Mayor Hibbard?
How are we communicating the fact that these timelines have changed?
Excellent question. So we will do an industry update, at least one. And so that'll go out a couple weeks, actually soon, probably in the next week, as far as when we get that public information meeting locked in and the timeline is set, we'll do a big blast out industry update. And then I'll do a separate one, so I keep track of every applicant from the past 5 years. So I'll do another layer of communication on top of the industry update. So we know sort of the usual, suspects when it comes to events and whatnot. And then we communicate with all of our municipalities as well, so they can filter out to their organizers as well.
Mr. Prather.
Thank you, Madam Chair. We eliminated the staff, or excuse me, the TDC subcommittee. Is that right? We no longer score.
That is correct.
Phil?
Under the rating criteria, we used to have so many points associated with each of the categories, and I'm just wondering how they are instructed to really evaluate the rating. You know, you meet the room nights, maybe the marketing plan. Well, it looks pretty good. You know, sponsorship benefits. Well, it looks pretty good. What, is there any threshold for any of those items anymore, or is just pretty much the opinion of those that are rating, say it's a good one or not?
So part of our internal review, it's a robust review, so we'll have stakeholders kind of representing their different areas, me from activations, digital, we'll all come to the table, review all the applications, and then we're also responsible for, the particular areas. Are you saying there's not like a number
It
associated?
used to be, okay, this is worth so many points, this is worth so many points. It had to reach 700 total or 70% to be considered, so I'm not sure.
Yeah, we'll have some pre-planning sort of meetings to allocate those numbers, but it's the same like threshold that we've used historically, which is 700 out of 100 or 1,000 is that threshold to meet. So yeah, we'll have to communicate what those kind of
I'm gonna
allocations
go back to
are.
that, it's just not listed here.
Mhm. Okay.
I just didn't know if there was any science to it or if it was just, okay, this one looks pretty good, let's recommend it.
It's a number-based model, yes.
Okay.
Michael, do you have anything to add?
No, I was going to say, I do recall that I believe a lot of the carryover from the prior scoring system was utilized by staff, because I remember when I was in, and I was there just to answer the legal questions, but as they were going through each category, they were using the same number to assess each category. So they were consistent in that. So they did have a science behind the method.
Anybody else have any questions, concerns? No one? All right, Craig, thank you so much. All right, and now we
Do you have one, sorry, Madam Chair, I do
Yeah.
have one bonus item, it's not on the agenda, kind of sneaking it in here, if you don't mind, if you got 2 more
Okay.
minutes. Okay, sorry. Thank you, so kind of putting on my sports and events hat here, wanted to update the group briefly on an event we put together in partnership with the Philadelphia Union last week. And they're in town for their spring training, and also in partnership with the city of Clearwater and the Chargers soccer team. So the Union, they've been in, we've had them in town training for a number of years now. And this year, they arrived early, or mid-January, excuse me, training every day, 7 scrimmages, and they leave later this weekend. One point of emphasis we worked with them on, sort of an adjustment to this year's agreement. We wanted them to focus on community efforts. And I'm happy to report they've made good on that request. So last Wednesday, the 8th, at Eddie Seymour Fields, again, we partnered with the Union, the city, Charger Soccer Club, and we hosted 120 youth soccer players for a soccer clinic with 4 of the Union players. So you can see the invitation we sent out to some of the teams. They're mostly 8 through 11 years old, I believe the players were. But again, over 120 in attendance. Here's some photos of the event. So the players all hopped into some of the training with the kids and had a blast. They had a little Q&A session. Kids were very excited about the opportunity to engage with the professional athletes, signing autographs afterwards. In all, they were there for about an hour and a half. The Union captured all sorts of great footage. So these photos are from the Union. They added them to their Instagram and Facebook pages, so to really kind of spread the word on this great event. But it was a new endeavor. Thought you might be interested to hear about it, but it was great to have a partner like the Union. They're from Philadelphia, but they're making an impact here locally, which is just tremendous. And here's
Right.
a shot of all the kids with the players.
Is that it, Craig?
Now I'm done, yes.
Okay, well, I didn't mean to cut you off,
No, you're good.
but I'm worried about losing people. So,
All set.
okay, great. Thank you so much. Any questions, concerns, anybody? All right.
Thank you.
And I know Mayor Hibbard has to leave a little bit early today, so I just want to remind you about our joint meeting, Mayor, so you don't forget, it's on the 28th.
I'll be there with bells on.
At the
I'm sorry I have to leave.
No worries, I just want
We
to
are
make...
looking forward to the softball tournament this weekend. It is, I believe, completely sold out, so it'll be another great success. Thank you all.
Okay. So,
Does
yes,
he have to wear bells to that meeting?
no, I did not know that that was a requirement, but maybe I should ask what the dress code is. We're talking about bells. All right, have a great day, Mayor. All right, now we are on to the last portion of our meeting, which is Steve Hayes with his report. Steve?
Thank you, Madam Chair. And let me go with destination metrics, and I'll ask the gentleman in the back to drive for me. First page is tourist development tax collections for the month of December. It was at 6.6 million compared to 6.4 million in 2021, which is a 1.1% increase. Fiscal year to date, we are up 6.3%. So this is through the first quarter of this fiscal year. So again, graphically, the black bars represent the current year that we're in. So you can still see that we're definitely above 21. We are trending above 22 for the first 3 months. Go to second page. And again, this is the TDT collection by municipality. You have December 22 collections versus December of 21 collections. And again, just as a reminder, miscellaneous other is those rentals where it's not in a specific municipality or they provide it for the county as a whole, example, like through Airbnb. And again, this information, so I know Stacy emailed it to you, so you'll have that in your inbox when you get back, but it also shows up for the public watching. It shows up on our recap page, on our partner page. Third looks at, now we get into the metrics related to lodging. This is for December. Occupancy in hotel was down 3.3% versus 2021. In vacation rentals, it was down 1%. And then ADR for hotel was flat, and the ADR for vacation rentals was down 4%. And I'd be interested to hear from, I know a couple of the lodging providers that are here, what you saw in December that would bring that down. And I could think of was the first part of December versus the latter part of December based on visitation. So I'd be curious on what your comments are with that. And if you look at for the month of December, beach occupancy was down 7, but inland occupancy was flat. And then beach ADR was down 2.8%, and inland ADR was up 8%. So if there's anything you're seeing that you might be able to help out on that, that'd be appreciated.
You have to remember, December, we had such a bad cold snap there for 10 days. So people were canceling. January was beautiful. We normally get that kind of cold snap in January. It just happened to come in December this year.
The other part that's happened in the last few months, hotels had made the decision not to take group business, meetings and conventions, and their occupancy is down because of it. So now they're rethinking going the other way for next year. But that was one of the things that has happened through January.
Okay. Anybody else?
I would just add, airline travel was a real problem in December also. That resulted in a lot of
Wasn't that the
cancellations.
truth though, right? Yeah.
So out of curiosity, at the hotel level, did you see cancellations because of the, again, the ripple effect?
Cancellations and also I think hesitation to book in some cases. People are afraid of getting stuck where they're at or not even be able to come in for their destination. You know, you see on the news, they did a lot of coverage of people that didn't get to spend holidays with family because of airline travel and other travel issues, not just airlines.
Phil?
This is, I'm not a hotelier, so remind me, STR, is that major branded hotels or chain hotels? They're not every single independent?
It includes independents, but it doesn't include all of them. It does include the chains. Again, for us, you know, it all depends who reports that given month. So again, it's a variety.
Okay, so when you look at average daily rate, it's those that are part of their pool of surveying, not necessarily all of the hotels in Pinellas County.
Typically from the hotel side, the major properties all report, and they report consistently on a monthly basis. Other ones they might miss. And again, we get a report that says which ones reported that month and which ones didn't.
So is it fair to say that average daily rate's maybe a little higher than it would be for every possible rental unit in Pinellas County? Just trying to understand a little bit better. You know, an independent mom and pop, let's say. There are a few of them that are out there, of course, but their rates are probably a little lower than a branded hotel chain.
Yeah, and Phil, I have to look at that to see, look at who's reported to kind of more accurately provide an answer on that. My guess is it's going to be the major properties that have the most amount of rooms versus maybe, you know.
I mean, our tax collections are across the board from every type of property. And would there be data there? We could see what the actual average daily rate is based on the tax collections. There's no way to pull that.
The only thing I know that we can get is we could tell if it came from a motel, but I can't tell at a specific property level.
Yeah.
So that, yeah, so it would be tough to make that correlation.
Okay, thanks.
But I'll still check.
Anybody else?
And this is still a good barometer to see if we're going up or down, but I was just kind of curious about the overall with the ones that aren't included in the STR.
Anybody, are you finished, Phil? Are you finished with your yeah. Anyone else? Any concerns? No? Okay, joint meeting agenda. Yes, I'm very anxious.
I'm sorry, I didn't think he was done with his report.
I've still got a couple more slides.
Oh, I so apologize. I'm sorry. I got hung up on Phil's distraction over there, and I forgot you were presenting.
I spent a lot of time taking my crayon last night and drawing on this. So,
Okay, please proceed.
So graphically, I just wanted to show again, occupancy black line is for 2022, and you can see last year, you know, as beginning of the year, we were definitely below 19, and I did include 19 on this one because I still do think it's relevant in some cases. But again, you can see where we ended up toward the end of the year. I did want to mention, and if you go to the next slide, and this looks at the rate, and the rate again continues to be above what we saw not only in 19, but in 20 and 21. I also wanted to point out, and I know, Russ, based on your comment on meetings, if looking at, so we get a STR report on the weekly business of what's happening. And what we are seeing there is, at least what have been seeing the last several weeks, is our midweek business. We're seeing double-digit increases over last year, which to me is a sign of not only meetings and conference business, but business travel that would come back over that, where you're not seeing the bigger gains on the weekend. And again, as we head into season, you know, last year was an extraordinary year, so you know, the delta and the increase we're going to see is going to be less and less because, you know, we're going to be at that capacity that we're at, you know, again, for a good season. And I think that's kind of where we're at from here. Next slide. And this goes to vacation rentals, and again, that's for the month of December. The one thing, and Ms. Moore had brought this up to me, the length of stay, looking at it, jumped to 15.5 from 8.1. So I'm going to check with Key Data just to ask what the variance would be on that. It does seem odd that we would catch that, but we've also been getting some increased product in there, so that may play into it. So I need to get a better understanding of that. Other thing I wanted to mention, only because it's been brought up at previous meetings, we will be having a webinar on March 2nd, and forgive me, I don't have the time for it, but we're going to be pulling in the vacation rental companies to really go through of what Key Data does and how they can get involved. And I think that's going to be critical because it raises our sample size so that we get, again, I think we have accurate information, but just it makes it more accurate. And again, what it means is instead of an error factor of 20%, maybe it's only an error factor of 10%, and that can really mean a lot. So thanks to Ms. Moore for pushing that, but we've got that scheduled, and then we'll have the appropriate communications going out from there. Going to the next slide for vacation rentals, and this looks forward. So if you look at February through April, you can see right now occupancy is down 1%, but ADR is up 3%, and then length of stay is up 8%. So again, it's in that 8-night or 8-day time period, which I think is probably reflective of what we've seen in the past. So getting back to normal. Next slide. I think, all right. So that's all I have on destination metrics. What you don't have in there was a visitor profile for the month of December. And on that one, we had received our STR information late, which DA needs, destination analyst, needs to go through to run their report. So that's why we don't have it in this. Otherwise, and I can send that out as soon as I have it. Yes, Mayor.
Mayor Botchowski?
Thank you. The visitor profile, I was looking online on where we get all our reports and stuff, and I didn't see the annual one that we normally do. What's the status of that?
That we should have the first week of March, and that'll give us for calendar year, which is really the number that we got. We do have one that's fiscal, but everything else we look at is calendar. So that's the one I'll be waiting on.
Okay, and then one other thing, and I mean, I know we all talk about it, but I feel the need to bring it up again. When I look at the report, the information about the STRs, and when you gave us in our packet an annual dollar amount under the miscellaneous/other category, this is on the tourist development tax municipality comparison. Yep. For the year, I think it's fiscal year, so I think that's, by our budget. Does that say, I think that says 6.5 million, which is the highest amount of bed tax out of any category collected, as far as through cities for the year. And, I mean, that says to me, we need to know where these places are located, because you're showing a city comparison, except there's 6.5 million on the table that's not getting credited to the location it needs to be. I don't know how we deal with that, but I don't think we can make good decisions without knowing that. I really don't. I mean, even Michael, you can respond to this. I mean, even whatever it says, like what makes up our membership here is based on how much tax dollars different communities get. If we don't know that, how do you know?
Doreen?
Could I speak to that as having the vacation rental
seat
program?
Yeah.
That's what we do. And we cover from Paso Grill to, in our case, the Indians. But to me, it would have to be something that was generated by the tax collection office to somehow create an algorithm in the reporting service, because I'm reporting a lump sum that comes from all of the properties in our program, regardless of the location. Those properties are registered with the tax office, but it's not broken down in any way other than a lump sum. So it would have to be something that the tax collector could create and
I totally
be
agree.
asking
I agree.
me as a reporter based on, and I don't even know how we would break out the dollars because of the way our reservation system maintains the dollars. So I think what we're asking for is really getting down and granular that I don't know, but certainly an IT person might be able to answer that question.
And I can ask the question. I think the other element is, and I'll have to verify this, but I think like the county gets a check from Airbnb.
Right. No,
So-
I get it.
And I don't believe they go through and say, well, it's for this property and this property and this property. Yeah, so,
I mean, I know we've talked about it in the past, but I see it, it's very clear to me when you look at the annual number, it's a big amount of money.
Yeah.
And I mean, when I look at Indian Rocks Beach, granted, it's a small community, but their annual number is small. You know how many vacation rentals Indian Rocks Beach has? I mean, they're not getting the credit they should.
yeah.
So if I could just chime in for 1 minute, because I want to make sure I'm clear about what you're saying. Beyond this chart that we have received that gives you the numbers and the projected and all of that, are you saying you want to see individual properties?
No, what I'm saying is, right now, all vacation rentals, not hotels, but vacation rentals, okay, like Airbnb, VRBO, any of the other management companies, are lumped into one category, comparing that to other cities. I'm saying we need to know where, when you want to look at the total dollars, we need to know where those vacation rentals and STRs are located so it gets applied to the correct city. I don't see how we make good, strong decisions going forward without that information at some point.
And I'm not disagreeing with you. I am just saying, I don't know how you collect that data, because for one thing, I know of several places that are renting their property, and they aren't necessarily on anybody's list. And that's kind of an issue as well. So we can talk to Carlos. That would come from Carlos Thomas's office. To see
Thank you. I
if they
appreciate
have it
that.
broken down that way, but I'm just thinking logistically, I'm not quite sure.
Well,
how to-
frankly, I mean, we should be making the host, like Airbnb and VRBO, the bigger host, I think it was a negotiation really between the county and them, saying that they didn't want to have to break it down, and we on our end accepted that. I'm saying I think we can't, going forward, I think we have to rethink that, is all I'm
I
saying.
hear you. I'll ask the question and see what I can find out. Okay. Anything else, Steve?
Go ahead.
So, again, I just want to remind you all of our joint meeting that is coming up here very shortly, and I hope you'll all make a very specific point of trying to attend, because it should be informative and important. And with that said, are there any further discussions from the members of the board today? Anybody? No? Michael, you have nothing to add? I've never heard you be so quiet.
I'm working on it.
Okay. Steve?
Madam Chair, if you wouldn't mind, on the joint meeting agenda, and again, we're going to be at the Sheraton Sandkey. It's scheduled from 9 to 11 on that day on Tuesday, February 28th. So during that 2 hours, one of the agenda items is we'll have a presentation from SFC, and again, there was a sports study that they've done looking at amateur sports really going forward. So they're going to present that information. And then really the second item really gets into the capital program discussion. And I think, that's the opportunity for this body to have that interaction with the commissioners, and really looking at the bigger picture of what's happening under the capital program. We will have information related to the things we've discussed about the program itself, i.e. the guidelines that we've gone through several different iterations of that now, and again, the changes that we went through to go through that. But I think there might be bigger discussion items with it, so that would be the opportunity to have those discussions with them. And again, I know in talking to a couple commissioners, they're looking forward to this meeting as well. So, again, if there's topics that you want to have on there, please bring that up. This is that time, because we only get together once a year as the two bodies, and there's some good stuff to be discussed.
Yes, Mr. Prather.
Thank you, ma'am. We had talked about having a list. There's obviously the raise is the 800-pound gorilla, but we've had presentations over the last several months, and we were going to come up with a list of all those potential capital requests. Is that a time to just float that out there so everybody can see how many people are having asks for this pot of money?
Yes, we have an idea. In some cases, we have no idea what the ask is. We just know that there's something that's going to be out there. Again, the Rays being part of that, but you also have the Phillies. We've the folks from the Woodson Museum, the Dali. So I think there's some we can certainly list those things. Some of it we may not know what that specific ask is.
To
Go ahead.
to follow up with Chuck, we kind of need from the BCC or the administration what you're thinking of different projects or statuses. We've had a status request from somebody or a presentation, but it was 5 months ago or whatever it is. So we're really looking, I think, from you all to help us understand what's out there and where we're going this next year. And you still got the one big one, but all the rest of them too.
Yeah.
So I think you're right on that we're not sure what the discussion will be, and maybe you can help us with that.
What I can share on this subject matter is there is not a finite number yet that you have received, because especially for the Rays and the Phillies and let's see, what else is out there looming large? The Dali has, quote unquote, another request that they are asking for, because since their first ask, it's been some time certain that has gone by. And as we all know, the cost of everything is going higher and higher and higher. So the longer it takes for us to land on numbers, the more expensive it's going to be, and that's from everything on down. Keep in mind, the hang-up with the Rays moving forward is that the city itself had not yet made a determination of who the developer of that property was going to be. So beyond the Rays as a partner with the county, we also have the city of St. Petersburg that's part of that triangle of folks trying to come to a decision on the outcome. So stay tuned. The negotiations have not yet started, but it's my understanding that they are soon to begin. So in the meantime, there have been, you know how that goes with government entities, one study after another having been in the pipeline, which I understand is now finished or about to be very shortly.
Second question. I've seen both 9 to 11, and I saw somewhere today also 9 to 12. What is the stated time of the meeting that we need to, is it a 2-hour or longer?
Well, our BCC folks have been noticed to plan from 9 until noon, because once we finish with all of the discussion with this board, there also is our board agenda review that we will be discussing immediately afterwards.
There's another meeting
Yeah.
behind
well,
ours
ki-
in the
kinda,
same
sorta,
place?
Yes, in the same place.
Okay.
So block out from 9 to noon as our host, if you wouldn't mind.
But do the bells still stay on Frank for the last hour, as you asked?
He don't, no, he don't, I don't, no.
He's not
As
here,
far
so-
as I know in this moment, he doesn't need to be there with bells and whistles.
I think the TDC meeting's been noticed from 9 to 11, and then from 11 to 12, the BCC is going to do their own work agenda, separate.
Because it's a workshop for
Yep.
us. Yes, Mayor.
I'm sorry. I'm talking a lot today. I don't mean to do that. Stop it. I think, I mean, we've talked about it here any number of times. I think we finally have to have a second dialogue with the county commission about any possibility of capital funding for tourism-related transit. I say like
Well-
the waterborne stuff that we're trying to do, and
Good luck with that, Mayor, because I've been harping on that for as long as I have been in public office, because I do think there's a conversation, and you may remember the last time I was chair, for those of you that were here, how passionate I was about trying to carve out a tourism-related transit piece, or whenever that was. I didn't even care so much about what the number was, but more about the concept that, you know, let's face it, our tourists put a lot of wear and tear on our infrastructure. And as a tourist development council, it seems to me that we ought to recognize that this is a basic need if we want to increase our tourism. That said, Michael and I have had more than one very highly spirited debates, have we not, Mr. Zoss?
well, and I totally get
Yes.
that,
Because
because,
it's the legislature's restrictions.
right, and there, Michael will tell you, you're not the only one that disagrees on some things, because I do too, but I also think there's an opportunity by even discussing it, by maybe the county requesting an AG opinion, or us working on legislation to adjust it a little bit. In the last year, we have kind of talked about it and said there is some small amount of, there was some sort of consensus that said, yeah, if you had like a tourist-related transit project, so if it was, you know, the ferry, you know, or loopers or whatever, that made total sense to look here to try to gain some funding. But I mean, there's next steps, and if we don't, I mean, here we talked about it. We were supposed to have our group meeting, back in November or something, and it got canceled because of a hurricane, or October, I don't remember. And at that time, we were going to totally talk about it. Even the strategic plan here for your organization, Steve, said, we wish Pinellas County had better transit. I mean, it all says it's all connected. And so, I mean, I think having that dialogue, nobody has to buy into every piece of it in a couple of weeks, but it's, what's our next steps? What do we need to look into? How do we convince Michael? What other attorneys do we need to talk to in the state? I mean, you know, our current plan, our current overall plan doesn't even allow us to spend it on anything else. That would have to be looked at and adjusted. So, I mean, there's a lot to talk about, but can everybody see the vision of this? Can we get sort of on board and then go off and work on it? That's really what I think we need to talk
A
about.
word of caution, if you don't mind. I
Sure.
think we probably are all open-minded enough, I can't speak for everybody, to at least be willing to have the conversation. I would encourage us to be very cautious about asking for a legislative fix, because I can tell you from experience, even though it was quite some time ago, very nasty, bad things happen when you open up an existing statute. those little nasty amendments that get filed from all over the state that have nothing to do with us can come in. And under the current philosophy of the current legislature, it would not shock me one bit if they filed a bill, if we asked for legislation, if they filed a bill to totally do away with us. So,
I get it, and I mean, like I said, I don't know if that's an answer. I just think, I just want to see the dialogue and maybe talk about some next steps. That's it.
well,
Thank
as
you.
an example, we, Pinellas County, on our own, filed a class action lawsuit on the opioid manufacturers and distributors. Well, guess what? When we finally won, the state swooped right in and are taking a gigundous share of that money. Yep, we incurred the expense to go forward, but still, the state is certainly getting their share. So that's a little bit of a rub, but I just want to issue that caution because that's the very big possibility in my mind, anyway. Okay, anything else? If there's nothing else, oh, yes, Mr. Henderson.
May's, since we were talking about future meetings, May's meeting was, it was mentioned there'd also be a budget presentation, and it's a 2-hour meeting. We normally have a lot longer session for our budget process. So are we just going to have a 2-hour regular TDC meeting and cram a budget in there at the same time?
For the May meeting, we will actually extend, it'll be a longer meeting.
Okay.
You all know how long it goes when we go through budget. I hope to have that concise this year, so we don't have that. The only caveat would be adding in decision on the elite events at the front end of the meeting, and then get into the budget for the year. So we can change that on the calendar. Just know that we'll probably have it, so it'll be a working lunch, and we'll start at 9 o'clock and then go through probably to about 1 or 2 and hope to end earlier.
Okay. So I figured it should be. It's on
Yep.
9 to 11. I thought that's not enough.
Yeah, and Madam Chair, if you wouldn't mind, the other thing I wanted to mention, because of the March meeting being on the 29th, which is the last Wednesday of the month, the week prior to that, on the 22nd, is Tourism Day in Tallahassee. So between the various organizations that all make that happen, there will be a contingent up in Tallahassee. I'm hoping that if you're going to be up there, please let me know, as I will be up there as well. And then there may be people that are watching from the industry that just know that that event is taking place up there over that time period. And I think this is kind of getting back to normal in terms of Tourism Day up there, because I know it's been a smaller crowd than usual, but it's important that be up there at that time.
Russ?
Do you know what our industry is doing for Tourism Day, those days, or anything yet?
Yes,
For him?
each chapter in FRLA has 5 attendees. I'll be one of them for here. Chuck's going too? Good. So they are still limiting the number of people that can attend. We'll be there that whole day.
And we're joining forces with attractions, museums. I think there's 5 of us total that are joining forces on Tourism Day.
Amplify is going the 26th, or the 27th, 28th, and unfortunately the 29th. So
What was that again?
I said Amplify Clearwater is going the 27th, 28th, and unfortunately the 29th.
Good to know. Anybody else? Mr. Gertis? Nothing going on in your city?
There's plenty going on, but Localtopia this weekend, and our dates are in March when our delegation is headed to Tallahassee. I can email those dates. I don't know them off the top of my head, but we're going in March.
Okay. Anything else for the good of the order? All right, then we are adjourned, and we'll see you next time. Thank you so much for all your thoughtful questions and